There are two occasions when the individual that's trying to raise money has to perform at their best. And one we just talked about, which is the business plan, which is key. If you get past that hurdle, the next stage is then to be able to essentially pitch to the business angel or the syndicate. Now this can come in a number of forms. It can be anything from meeting an individual business angel in a bar or over a cup of coffee and talking through the opportunity. It's not something I'd recommend because there's all sorts of interruptions that there may be going on around you in an environment like that. The best thing to do, I think, is to be able to do it somewhere quiet. And if you're going to use PowerPoints, and I have mixed feelings about PowerPoints, and some people tend to go overboard and have probably far more slides than they ever need and spend half their time looking at the slides rather than facing the individual. And so there's no connection at all, and what's important is being able to get over the passion of the individual, the fact that the individual knows what's going on in their business and they don't have to keep prompting themselves by reading all the bullet points that they might have on their slides. So they have to be articulate, I think they have to be presentable, and they have to be able to show not just passion, but they have to show what sort of vision they have. And this is an opportunity on a one-to-one or one-to-many basis. They can get over this vision, the sort of mission that they're working on, the sort of culture that they may instill in the company, and how they're actually going to take this proposition, which is in the form of 20 pages, and turn it into reality. And there are so many that actually fall at that hurdle. Some through no fault of their own because they're not used to actually presenting. And again, that's something, if you're not used to doing, you should practice, you know, whether it be in front of the mirror or in front of friends or advisors or whatever. But don't go cold to a presentation with a bunch of slides, because that actually is not going to get you to where you want to be. I think if you're going to make a strong pitch, then what is useful is not only probably the chief exec or the managing director who may well be giving the pitch, but actually members of the management team be present as well, and maybe take part in the pitch itself, because that's what the business angels are investing, a team, not just an individual. And that can actually give you an indication of what the chemistry is between those individuals and how they may actually work together in making this plan come to fruition. One of the things that they would obviously include, not only in the plan but in the presentation, is forecasting. And I think another downfall is the ability for people to actually forecast accurately. And they're never actually going to be perfect, but some of them are totally unrealistic. And if you're trying to persuade somebody to invest in your business, and you're trying to persuade them that this business is going to actually quadruple year by year over the next 10 years, they're never going to believe it. So you have to actually be realistic, and you have to actually understand what potential downfalls or problems that may occur. And if you're challenged on some of these, you must actually be in a position where you can give an answer. If you just stand there looking blank and and then obviously that's going to turn the investors off as well. You need to be able to demonstrate that you understand how to market the product. And one way to turn investors off, I think, if you do use PowerPoint, is to have a PowerPoint presentation that looks as though it's been put together by your 8-year-old daughter. And believe me, there are some around that actually do that. So if you're not good at putting the presentations together themselves, again, find somebody that can actually help you. So the actual presentation itself comes over slick and professional, because what you're trying to do is build the confidence of the individual investors. Once that confidence gone, for whatever reason, you're lost. Business angels are primarily looking for a financial return. I think that's the main reason they're doing it. I mean, some may do it for altruistic reasons, but primarily they're there to make a financial return. And so they have to be comfortable with the investment opportunity. So it's not just a matter of receiving a business plan and making a quick judgment as to whether they think this is something they might want to get involved in. They will go into great detail in trying to understand what the business opportunity is. And some of the key elements that they're interested in are the individuals that are involved. the entrepreneur and the management team. Is there a management team in place, or are there individuals in the wings that could actually get involved once the funding has been made? And that's a pretty key criteria that they have, because without the correct people in place, it's unlikely that, however good the business plan may appear to be, that it won't be executed in the way that it needs to be. So that's obviously very important. It has to have high growth opportunity, and I think these days people are looking for not just an opportunity that might be local or regional, but something that scales to at least national and hopefully international basis, because that's the only way that you're going to see high growth. So they're pretty fundamental, I think, criteria that they're looking for. It has to be a product area that's not me too. Ideally, if you can be first to market with a new technology or a new opportunity, that's key. And maybe number two. But as soon as you start getting 3, 4, 5 and 6, then that becomes more difficult, I think, to actually realise the aims that the individuals may have with their businesses.